Hello, everybody. Apologies if there was a moment of silence there at the very beginning while everything was connecting. All right. So today is day 683 of Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. And I'm sure it's been a busy week for all of us. A lot of stuff has happened. New Year's is over. I don't know about the rest of you. I had a lot of traveling that I was doing the last few weeks, and especially during the holiday season, end of December, early January. Finally done. I'm back in one spot for a little bit and can focus on getting things done for Ukraine, for the channel. Which actually, some of you might have noticed that there hasn't been a video. I mean, we continue to do the live streams every week, every Saturday. Going to stay consistent with that, unless something really does come up. But even if I'm traveling, I make sure to do the live stream. I think it's been about 2 weeks since the last video went up. But don't worry, there are going to be some more videos coming. Been working on a couple of different things, been in contact with other Ukraine creators, with some YouTube, I guess what's the way to put it? Like with other creators on YouTube and those also just people in general who know the platform very well to optimize growing the channel and show, get word out about helping Ukraine to as many people as possible. Spent a lot of time yesterday on things like planning out in the future, additional social media and stuff like that for outreach. Looked over a lot of stuff getting ready for a Discord server. That's a big thing. That's in the works, and right after the stream today, I'm gonna be working on that. So, keep an eye out for an announcement about Discord if that's something that interests you. And so let's see who all is joining us so far this morning. Enhil, Armand, Tone, No Man, last one, 207. Anton, hey, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. And with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into this. Oh, also one more thing. An eye out for, probably later today even. We're going to start posting shorts a bit more. So that way, especially when I am traveling, and I'm not always able to sit at my computer to edit things, we're going to have some content that's going up more regularly. I'm hoping to aim for at least one stream, one long form video, and maybe 1 or 2 shorts a week. So that is the current goal. All right. Now then, today, in addition to being day 683 of the war, for anyone who is American, you may be aware that today is January 6th. And as you can see from the title, I think this is something that's important to discuss a bit. Because it does in a way correlate with Ukraine, because much of the political furor or fervor, political fever, that's going to be the proper word to use. Basically just craziness right now in American politics is going to be linked to the MAGA movement. And of course, the MAGA movement was directly responsible for January 6th. For anyone who is not familiar, because not everyone from outside the U.S. might be, because it was big news, but also it's a big world. Back on January 6th, 2021, 3 years ago from today, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're just going to touch on this for a bit before we get into Ukraine news. There we go. We'll make that full screen. I've just got Wikipedia open, so yeah. January 6, 2021, the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. was attacked by a mob of supporters of then U.S. President Donald Trump, 2 months after his defeat in the 2020 presidential election. They sought to keep Trump in support by preventing a joint session of Congress from counting the Electoral College votes to formalize the victory of President-elect Joe Biden. The attack was ultimately unsuccessful in preventing the election results from being certified. According to the House Select Committee that investigated the incident, the attack was the culmination of a 7-part plan by Trump to overturn the election. Interesting that preview doesn't want to open. But in any case, yeah, so suffice it to say, today is a day that lives in infamy in most Americans' memories. Well, actually, I wish I could say that, much like other days of infamy from American history. But specifically, well, unlike others that have been from outside forces attacking the U.S., this was an attack by Americans on the American Capitol building. It is a day that unfortunately affects American politics, affects funding for multiple things, including military aid to Ukraine. And to this day, is still being grappled with. So, yeah, the reason that I want to discuss this a bit today is specifically because, well, and in this video channel isn't monetized or anything right now, so I don't have to worry about that unless YouTube suddenly decides, oh, don't want a lot of political discussion on our platform. That's the only time I'd need to worry about this being taken down, I think. But hopefully, I don't know, YouTube's rules can be fickle. But in any case, yeah, this is something that if you are an American, anyone listening to this, you know, just pay attention, because this is something that doesn't usually, in recent history, happen in your country. And it is something that has to be taken seriously. Please do not sleepwalk into a future without democracy in America. That's all I have to say on that specifically. All right, now then, we've got a few articles that we're going to go over real quick. And we're just going to go over one related to January 6th real fast, and then we're going to jump right into Ukraine news, because I know that's what we're all here for. Oh, also, one more thing. All right, while getting that ready, let me go ahead and pop over here to send a message. Let's open this up. Okay, first is an article coming from NBC News. Here's the headline, and it's already in the description. Anyone who wants to find it, I'm also going to put it in chat right now. And the article covers the fact that the FBI captures 3 January 6 fugitives at Florida ranch on the 3rd anniversary of the Capitol attack. Jonathan Daniel Pollock had been on the run since 2021, while Olivia Michelle Pollock and Joseph Daniel Hutchinson III failed to show up to their trials in 2023. And again, this is why I want this to be discussed a little bit, because of how important American support is for Ukraine. And this is an event that for 3 years now has continued to be rolling in the background. It is something that is not over. It did not go away. People still, very emotionally reeling from it, and politically reeling from it, and legally reeling from it. There are still convictions and arrests being made. People who are involved thinking that they did nothing wrong. I don't know how they think that, but okay. And yeah, let's jump into this, because this split, unfortunately, does have an effect on American society and Congress. All right. Early Saturday morning, the 3rd anniversary of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, the FBI captured 3 fugitives accused of participating in the riot at a ranch in Florida. The FBI executed 3 federal arrest warrants early this morning at a ranch in Groveland, Florida, in Lake County, the FBI Tampa field office said in a statement. The subjects taken into custody are January 6 fugitives Jonathan Daniel Pollock, Olivia Michelle Pollock, and Joseph Daniel Hutchinson III. The defendants are scheduled to appear in federal court in Ocala, Florida on Monday, January 8th. No further details concerning their capture are available at this time. Jonathan Pollock has been at large since the summer of 2021, when he was indicted alongside his sister Olivia Pollock Hutchinson and 2 others. Federal authorities said Hutchinson had been an employee at the Pollock family's gun shop in Lakeland, Florida. Olivia Pollock and Hutchinson have been fugitives since the summer of 2023, when they failed to show up to their trials. Jonathan Pollock is accused by federal authorities of helping breach a barricade and assaulting officers, grabbing one by the waist and pulling the officer down the stairs, punching another in the face, stealing another officer's police shield. And co-defendants were both convicted at bench trials, and Dolan sentenced to 18 months in federal prison, while Perkins was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison. And closing out this article, more than 1,200, let me highlight this in fact. Here we go. Highlight. Oh, I just realized that. Shoot. I want to highlight this section, and I've got it all. All right, well, it's only going to be a partial highlight, and the only reason for that is because the logo for this news outlet is attached to the very end of it. So, unfortunately, it doesn't. I don't want to be displaying their logo, so we'll do this, and just I'll read out the last 6 words or 7 words. All right. All right, so going back to this, more than 1,200 defendants have been charged in connection with the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Hundreds of additional rioters have been identified but not yet arrested. And Matthew Graves, the top federal prosecutor in Washington, said this week that scores of new cases are on their way. So, yeah, this is an issue that has been ongoing. So many people who are just now going to trial for it from 3 years ago. There are people who have been arrested and are in jail or prison. There's been a lot of prosecution and a lot of anger on both sides, understandably, because of how big of an event it was. And yeah, I just find it crazy that it happened in the place at all. I can tell you, because I do travel across a lot of different places. All around, most especially in North America, Canada, US, Mexico, and in quite a few places, especially rural places, and in the southern parts of the United States, I see a lot of symbols, a lot of flags, a lot of icons, the January 6th attack in businesses, sometimes even individuals with political affiliations, in everything from small mom and pop shops to bigger, medium-sized businesses. This is something that unfortunately 2024 is going to be an intense year militarily, politically, in Ukraine, in the US, and all across the world in several regions. So, hey, let's all stand strong, stay united, and focus on what's important, standing up for what's right. All right. Now then, let's go ahead and move into Ukraine news because it's already been 17 minutes. All right, everybody. So let me take this down. All right. And first thing we're going to do is cover an article from the BBC, which should also already be down in the description below, but I'm going to put it in the chat. And this is something very important, more heinous than any political violence that it has occurred recently. This is beyond politics. This is just something that really sickens me, if I'm being honest, but it's important to talk about. We're going to cover it right now. And that is, in the Ukraine-Russia war, Putin's citizenship decree violates children's rights, Ukraine says. So any of us who have been following along with the events unfolding in Ukraine are likely aware of the fact that many Ukrainian children who are Ukrainian citizens, have been kidnapped by the Russian Federation, by Vladimir Putin's regime, and either are held, of course, in the occupied territories or have been taken to Russia itself, put into foster homes, and basically just taken away, told that they will not see their family or extended family, any family, ever again. Instead, they will reside in Russia, which is horrible and a war crime. And I am fairly certain against the Geneva Convention. Now, let's take a look at this for a bit. All right. There's been an outpouring of support for Ukrainian children Ukraine has condemned a decree signed by President Putin making it possible to confer Russian citizenship on Ukrainian children moved to Russia. Last March, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for President Putin over Russia's policy of forced child deportations. Oh, that is extremely important. Let me reiterate that again. The ICC has an active arrest warrant for President Putin that was, you know, all around. People were talking about it last year quite a bit. It's not in the news now, but that also has not gone away. There is still an arrest warrant out for the president of the Russian Federation. So let's all keep that in mind. And yeah, hopefully, the man must be brought to justice. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry calls the decree illegal. However, Russia said it is moving the children out of harm's way. On January 4th, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a citizenship decree expediting Russian citizenship to foreigners and stateless people. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry singled out the passage, saying that orphaned Ukrainian children or those deprived of parental guardianship can be fast-tracked to Russian citizenship by way of a presidential decision or after a request by the institution holding them. The decree states that a citizenship application for such a child can be submitted by their legal guardian or the head of a Russian organization responsible for the child. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry sees this as Russia's attempt to solve its own demographic crisis, describing it as a violation of Ukrainian and international laws and children's rights. Yeah, that is definitely very accurate. Actually, an understatement. It is not just a violation of Ukrainian and international laws, but of the laws of war. It is a war crime. It is a breach of international law. It is Russia, like many countries all around the world, has what is described as a demographic crisis. Many countries have demographic crises. But you don't see most of those other countries that are considered civilized, first world, developed, responsible members of the international community going around taking their neighbors' children. And this is just something that astounds me to this day. It shouldn't, because Russian soldiers have done a lot worse in Ukraine. This is still horrific, but some of the things that have been done by them are, of course, we cannot really, we can't describe them on YouTube because, yeah, it's too graphic for the platform. But yeah, suffice it to say, yeah, to hell with the Russian Federation is what I'll leave it at, and Vladimir Putin. All right, the decree is yet more evidence of Russian policy of forced assimilation of Ukrainian children and crimes against Ukraine in general, the ministry added. And yeah, we'll do this. Highlights section. Ukraine's Commissioner for Human Rights, Dmytro Lubinets, says Moscow is granting citizenship to the children so that they are not regarded as Ukrainians who have been transferred to Russia. So another important part of this, it's not out of the goodness of Moscow's heart, out of the goodness of Putler's heart. Part of this is really just to try to cover their own asses, basically they on paper can say, no, these are not Ukrainian children. These are Russian children who are being, transferred into orphanages, into foster homes because of the special military operation, not the war. The cognizance in Russian society at large, within the country, has reached a point where it reminds me of Newspeak. It reminds me of 1984. Really, the most horrible, most ridiculous thing you can imagine. Just change the language, change the way you refer to it, and suddenly, as long as it has the state's approval, it's all good. It's okay. Unless the political situation changes tomorrow, in which case everything might change in a moment, and then you have to learn new ways to refer to things. It's maddening. All right. Now then, the Ukrainian authorities have identified over 19,000 Ukrainian children who have been deported to Russia since the beginning of the full-scale invasion in February 2022. Only 387 children have been brought back so far, according to the Ukrainian national database Children of War. Oh, actually. All right, let's keep going. In November 2023, the BBC's Panorama TV program revealed that a political ally of Mr. Putin adopted a child seized from a Ukrainian children's home. Sergei Mironov, the 70-year-old leader of a Russian political party, is named on the adoption record of a 2-year-old girl who was taken in 2022 by a woman he is now married to, according to documents seen by Panorama. Again, we're almost done with this article. In March, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Mr. Putin for alleged war crimes in Ukraine. The ICC said he was responsible for unlawful deportation of children from Ukraine to Russia. Maria Lvova-Belova, Russia's Commissioner for Children's Rights. I don't know if you've ever seen this woman in a video. I have, and I just find it ridiculous that a so-called Commissioner for Children's Rights would openly act as though what they're doing is in the best interest of children by basically reiterating propaganda that Ukraine cannot be trusted, that there are no places in Ukraine that are safe for children, and that the kids have to be kept inside of Russia. Yeah, that woman really, she pisses me off when I see her. Was hit with the same charges. Thank you. Was hit with the same charges. ICC prosecutor Karim Khan said children could not be treated as spoils of war and that it was possible Putin could stand trial. All right, so let's sit back and dissect that for a moment. Yeah, let me check chat, see if there are any questions regarding this. Oh, and also, in case anyone does have questions, I'm opening the Q&A. So ask in chat or at or Modno, or you can use the Q&A section. All right. Anyway, sorry if I seem a little agitated, but it, of course, is a really... anything involving children, anything negative happening to children, and especially with the case of war, it always it always gets me emotional. Anyway. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Tony. Yep. I hear you. We're on the same page. But yeah. I mean, I don't know what else I can really say about this beyond the fact that it is horrific beyond description. Well, no, that's the lazy way out. There's plenty of description that can be used, needs to be used regarding this topic. And what concerns me the most is the fact that, um, you know, we don't have guarantees. Is there justice that's going to be served regarding this? Uh, is there a way for Putin to be brought to justice, to be arrested and removed from Russia physically to another location where he would stand trial? And the answer is, at this moment, probably not. Because I don't see any organization, any intelligence agency, anyone who would be able to realistically do that. Um, his entire world is basically built around this little prism, this box, this defensive structure to prevent uh, being arrested or assassinated. So, yeah, I think that the way we see Putin come out of power is an actual ousting, a coup that occurs in Russia. And that is something that we've seen some small inklings of. We've seen rebellions, we've seen units in the war turn on other Russian soldiers. We've seen partisans inside of Russia who are um, many different partisans. Some of them are pro-Ukrainian. Some of them, I mean, really, some of them are just have their own motivations. The big thing is that they're just against Putin. Uh, some might have links to actual intelligence agencies from including Ukraine. But regardless, we've seen plenty of little fires, but we haven't seen the inferno yet. And I got to tell you, I really hope that we do in 2024. I really hope that we see Russia start to show more cracks, more signs of internal issues that they can't cover up, they can't keep down anymore, and especially things that disrupt their logistics, war logistics. That'll make a big difference. Anyway. Yeah. All right. So next, we're going to go ahead and move over to the deep state map, as usual. So let me go ahead and share that real fast. Oh, and also, I'm going to go ahead and put our current fundraiser status down in the corner over here, which, yeah, quick update on that. I always forget to silence my phone when I'm on a stream, and I always have it right next to me charging so I can use it for stream related things. Yeah, that's funny. Anyway, all right. So for anyone unfamiliar, these bars that you see on the screen right now are related to our fundraisers for the 110th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces serving in Avdiivka. And it is a large amount. We started at 2,200,000 hryvnia, and it's now down to 1,958,000 hryvnia. The way that we do it is we fundraise to a certain point, and then once we have enough to pay for a few of these 110 FPV drones that are delivered, we withdraw the funds, and then Anton, a friend in Ukraine, he assists with getting those to the front. And same thing with this second fundraiser, which is for an anti-drone gun. Yeah, I'll have to go back and check what that originally started at, but we've got it down to where we're getting really close. I think this is approximately 1,500 or so in US dollars. So yeah, that's what's remaining on the anti-drone gun. We'll come back to that in a moment. For right now, let's shift this. And here we go. We'll just go full screen. And we'll remove this for right now. All right. So here on the deep state map, I'm going to take a look at the situation of the lines, see if we notice any changes in a few key areas. All right, and we'll start with okay, well, hold on. So December 29th. Oh no, December 30th would be a week ago. So we'll just type that in. Or maybe it won't let me. It only shows a description. A little annoying, but okay. We'll just click this until we get to December 30th. All right. And let's take a look at the situation in Avdiivka to start with. Now, of course, more resources need to get to Ukrainian troops, just in general, all across the front line, most especially in Avdiivka. The town is held for a long time. It will continue to hold, but, you know, the Russians use meat wave tactics. They throw their men away, basically. And this is not new. We all talk about this, but this is, you know, Russian imperial history, going back to the Tsar, and then in the Soviet Union, and now today with the Russian Federation. Russia often in history has just thrown its soldiers into hopeless situations in incredibly large numbers, often only partially equipped or ill-equipped completely for whatever they were meaning to do. And then when they lose hundreds of thousands or millions of men, just, you know, encourage the population to repopulate with incentives. And we're seeing that right now play out in the Russian political sphere, which, yeah, is... Ugh. All right, let's take a look. And so in the past week, okay, yeah, we are seeing slow movement and nothing that's going directly to Avdiivka. But I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Look at this down here. Look at this. Avdiivka is holding, but yeah, over here near Pervomaiske, this road heading toward the Piski area, near Vodiane, little by little, they're being pushed back, but try to take more ground. And yeah, the Russians are slowly trying to encroach to the point where they not only have this under fire control, but they can take control of more of this road. And that would affect supplies over here to this green area that you're seeing that was liberated a while ago by the Ukrainian armed forces. Avdiivka itself, I'm not seeing too many changes around the city. A little bit up here to the northwest, but it seems that the rest of it is this focus of heading toward Novobakhmutivka. So really, my perception of the whole situation over here from the enemy, from the invaders' perspective, is continual pressure. I don't think they aren't expecting, I don't think, a major breakthrough or anything anytime soon. But what they are expecting is the political situation from both internally in Ukraine and abroad from Ukraine's allies to eventually buckle under the pressure of this war. And this is something I have been noticing. This is something, I mean, not that the support is buckling, but the that their strategy really just seems to be wait and wait until people are so upset that they split, they divide, they no longer stand united. Um, Now, in Ukraine, uh, it'd be better to speak with a Ukrainian about this directly, who has eyes on the ground and is familiar with is maybe not it. Well, an expert would be preferred, but someone who at least is familiar, intimately familiar with the internal Ukrainian political situation. But I have noticed some internal criticism and mm, maybe dissatisfaction isn't the right word, but uh, questioning of the current president, Zelensky, and his approach to the war by some, not all, but by some inside of Ukraine. And yeah, this is something that I do find a little concerning, um, only because Zelensky has been a very effective leader. Um, this is an extraordinary situation. Ukraine is under a lot of strain, a lot of pressure economically, and of course, militarily, uh, in terms of emotionally, in terms of preserving culture, preserving sovereignty. And then, of course, there is the issue of external support, trying to make sure that Ukraine holds out and receives the additional military aid that it needs from Western partners, from partner nations in the EU and the United States, of course. So, yeah, if anyone listening is Ukrainian or has any friends in Ukraine, um, this is something I would be very interested in talking to someone about here on the channel, specifically the internal um, political viewpoints of Ukrainian citizens on the war, on Zelensky, on the long-term implications of everything that's occurring right now. Um, because remember, opinions from those of us who are supporting Ukraine abroad are important, but most important are the thoughts, feelings, and uh, emotions of Ukrainians themselves. So, me personally, I stand with Zelensky. I think he's done a good job. I think he's doing everything he can in a seemingly impossible situation with partners from abroad who have delivered, but done it piecemeal and not in their entirety as they have implied that they would. And yeah, in my opinion, he's doing a damn good job. Anyway, all right, moving on to next section. Let's take a look in. I believe Kupiansk is still about the same. It's mostly just been rumors in that direction. Same with one, not much that I'm aware of. But let's take a look at this over here near the front line when there was a push to make a breakthrough to Tokmak. As you can see, still quite a bit ways away, quite a bit of distance, working to hold this this liberated land right here. And let's take a look. All right. And yeah, it seems to be, it's held pretty steady. No major changes here. The biggest focus, rather than in the Robotne area, has been near Avdiivka. In Kherson, I'm fairly certain the situation is similar, but let's take a look. yeah, a bit of movements of units, but no change in territory, nothing that's exchanged hands. And I'm pretty sure the same will be true up here in Kupiansk. Remember, it is wintertime. So major shifts, major movements on the map may not be occurring for a little bit. Both sides are still fighting, of course, but maybe not until March or April. There could be something before then, of course, but maybe not until then do we see some large changes on the map. All right, now near Kupiansk. Yeah, same thing, just it's been steady. So really, I guess the biggest change that I see so far is here in the Avdiivka area. And with that, let's actually take a moment to segue into something I'd like to share with all of you. Let's see. We'll do it from here. Now, most of you probably saw this, but in case you didn't, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to show you this post that was made not too long ago. All right, let's see. Share this instead. There we go. All right, now this is my good friend Rick, and this was posted recently because our first shipment of the 110 FPV drones for the 110th Brigade serving in Avdiivka. In his last stream, he assisted again. Thank you very much. Always appreciate it, Rick. And after his donation and others that followed afterward, we went from 7,521.88 hryvnia to 70,978.83. And since then, the amount was withdrawn, and more drones purchased. So actually, if I go to the jar and take a look, let's see. If it will load. Well, in any case, while that is loading, here we go. Yes, so when I had posted this, it was reading 12 on the monobig jar. Now it is up to, it is officially at 15. So yeah, we have purchased 15 so far of the 110 FPV drones together, everyone. And I just want to say thank you. It's not possible without all of you here helping. And we're going to get the rest of them out to them. We're going to get that anti-drone gun delivered as well. You know, we're going to do everything we can to support all Ukrainian troops, and most especially the 110th Brigade operating in Avdiivka. All right. All right. So yeah, the Anton informed, and if you want to go see the stream, stream on that matter, if you go to the community tab, you'll hear. In addition, Anton recently informed me that the first shipment of drones that we financed will soon be delivered to the 110th for use at the front lines. There was a situation at the Polish border that had caused a brief delay in delivery of certain components for the FPV drones, but thankfully that's been resolved. I'm really hoping that in 2024 we don't see more of that. Unfortunately, the Polish government that was in power before the newest one that was elected, they had some constituents who were not very happy and are still not very happy. and it kind of reminded me of the Canadian trucker protests from a few years ago, if any of you recall that. They basically just went to the border, blocked roads leading in and out of Poland to Ukraine, and started disrupting supply lines. So, yeah, the most apt phrase I can use to refer to such people would be useful idiots. And really, some of them, for some of them, it's pure selfishness. Just, they don't care about the war. They just care about their own interests and everything inside of Poland. Not saying that one shouldn't care about their own economic interests, but given the gravity and the situation of a war right next door with your neighbor involved, that would put your country at risk of direct warfare if that country falls and ends up having a large portion of it under occupation. I'm pretty sure most, many of my Polish friends I've talked to would say, and have said, that it's ridiculous and they either don't know what they're doing or actively are aligning, some of them with a horrible fascist regime called Russia. So, yeah, hopefully we do not see that reoccur. Anyway, we'll keep you informed on that matter. Hopefully there will be no more major issues at the Polish-Ukraine border in 2024. And yeah, here are pictures of the drones. Here's Rick and the drones all stacked inside of this car to be delivered to soldiers. I'm not being specific about the exact time or place where they'll be delivered for operational security. But yeah, also notice here this little monkey. And I don't know if he's here right now, but if I'm not mistaken, this little Ukrainian knitted monkey was made by a member of our communities. I don't know if you want me to say his whole, or actually if it's just a username or not. I've never actually asked him directly, but we'll say Barry. So Barry, member of our community, made these for Rick, and I think they're awesome. Or actually, I believe it was mother. So that picture monkey was also included here. So yeah, thank you to you as well, Barry. Yeah, protected by the Barry monkey. Exactly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it's Barry Monday. Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know. I'm always so protective of people's identities that maybe some people are rolling their eyes, like, just don't worry about it so much. We're all here on streams quite often. Don't worry about it unless it's like a phone number or a national ID number or something. Of course, don't give out that information. Anyway, yeah, this is from Barry Monday. It's the Barry monkey. And thank you, Barry. Here are the FPV drones signed for Rick the Ukrainian and Secular Sakai, Tridents Against. Anton put this together, and this will all be delivered soon. And yeah. And then these are the updates for the jar back when it was filled before we withdrew the money for the last 3 drones. Anyway, welcome everybody who's joined us here recently. Yeah, I see Anna, I see Silver Earth, Lars, Charlie, Andreas, Chris Lunde. Glad to have you all here. All right. Now then, let's see. Oh, I do see a question now. So let me address this real fast. I'll close this and put this over here for now. Oh, and we did get a donation. So it looks like we did get a donation to the FPV drones. Thank you very much. All right. All right. So, question from Hugh G. PSA, so I guess public service announcement. The city of Modena, Italy, is hosting a pro-Russian event titled "The Rebirth of Mariupol" in conjunction with Russian officials. Let's all write to show that this is showing the wrong signal. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. It, okay, let me say this. I really do love Italy. I've known many Italians. I've known, okay, I shouldn't say many, but I've known several Italians in my travels, and very nice people, great culture, of course, well-known country. Um, Italian politics are, if you think that Canadian or American or British politics are dysfunctional, my God, I, I'm sorry, any Italian, viewers, anyone from Italy who's listening, I love you guys. Your politics are so screwy. It's like I can't even keep track of how many political parties seem to go in and out and in and out of coalitions and the rise and fall of individuals and parties and kind of this lack of faith in institutions that I've observed. Um, it Yeah, I love Italian culture, but Italian politics, I feel like could have had a better framework when they were uh, first introduced for the modern era. In any case, yeah. So going back to this, it does not surprise me. Italy is a country that has, and again, I'm talking about Italy, Italian government and entities within Italian society that operate almost like uh, organizations within Italy, companies and other uh, interest groups that operate either independently of the government, and they aren't representative of all of Italian society, of course, but between the government and some of these organizations and companies in Italy that kind of operate with their own skewed moral compass, factions of the Italian government, I should say, not the whole government, although I'm not a fan of Maloney. Um, you end up seeing uh, a lot of very very shady things. I have known of Italian companies who have done business with North Korea. I've known of Italian companies who have done, well, of course, just like many other places, business in Russia. And it doesn't surprise me that some in Italy would still have ties to the Kremlin, even during this war. There are many in Italy supportive of Ukraine, but there are also many in Italy who I would call, just like in many other countries, just like in Hungary, just like in Slovakia, there are parts of Italian society who kind of belong to this European flavor of hyper social conservatism, where weirdly enough, you might see people in certain parts of these countries who are watching Fox News and kind of nodding their head, saying, yeah, that Tucker Carlson guy, he makes sense. We gotta combat wokeism. I don't like a lot of the social, you know, political changes happening in my country. I'm way more traditional, way more conservative. Uh, and not saying that can't have, not saying that it's completely bad to have some conservative views or perspectives, and that definition changes from country to country anyway. But okay, when you're coming from another country and you are agreeing with the likes of Orban or Trump or Tucker Carlson or Newsmax or Max, Serbia, for example, this is a big movement in Serbia as well. Um, I'm just gonna say it. Are you really on the right side of history? Are you? Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So yeah, I do agree with you, and specifically for this event, please do reach out to me. In fact, I'll message you right quick in chat because I would like to know more about this. Um, and especially if you know any Italians who could get involved in speaking out against this, I would appreciate it. I just realized I should do this. Hold on. There we go. Okay, now the question is selected in chat so you can all see it. And yeah. You can reach me at this email, Q. And definitely send me more information about that, because I would be interested in learning more. All right, let's see. Okay, Anna. Yeah, I see. So yeah, you saw a lot of Russian ties while in Italy. Yeah. Another important thing to keep in mind: Italy recently left the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, which Italy does not have the strongest economy, so that surprised me a bit. It kind of messaged to me, okay, if that's the case, and you've got Maloney and the Fratelli, her political party, which are very conservative, and also, for those not aware, the historical party of Benito Mussolini. That is correct. Mussolini's political party is in power technically right now in Italy, although it is a modern, supposedly reformed version of the party. I don't know if that's really true with some of the things that they say, but yeah. It surprises me because it shows me that there seems to be a very big pushback against the left, and China, despite being just as authoritarian as Russia, is often seen as part of quote unquote the left. They are communist. So rejecting that, but then embracing, or at least some in Italy attempting to embrace closer ties to Russia, that kind of tells me what direction Italian society might be heading, and it's not a good one. So I hope that Italy does not go down that path. Now then, yeah, Salilus. Suddenly we it all went on a tangent of Italy. So yeah, again, I'm not saying anything bad about Italy as a whole or Italian people. Um, but I am saying that Italian politics are a mess. Please, yeah, I really hope that it can be reformed and improved one day. Reformed in a way that doesn't involve one authoritarian group taking power over everything, is what I mean. Yeah, and this is true, Travis. This is true. Maloney has been pretty pro-Ukraine. I was also worried when she got in. It's kind of this weird. I don't know how to put it. Um, her words seem to echo uh, the politics of the Russian Federation, but her actions echo the reality of EU NATO membership and support for Ukraine. So it's almost this cognitive dissonance of saying one thing but doing another. So then when onlookers from outside of Italy observe what's happening, it's like, uh, what? So do we trust Maloney or do we not trust Maloney? And I don't know if that's intentional or if it's just an accident of Italian political dysfunction, but either way, again, it's interesting. And yes, Italian food is good. All right, now moving on. Oh, here's a why is being woke a bad thing? Um, I mean, that's actually, it seems like that's a simple question to answer. It's actually a little complicated. And the reason for that, I would say, is because the word quote unquote woke doesn't have a good definition. It means like 10 different things to 10 different people. And when it first was being used, it was kind of this really positive idea on the left about being open-minded and liberal about social issues. Then there were a few kind of radical individuals on the left who were, I mean, I guess for lack of a better word, pro-censorship, while embracing certain concepts from left-leaning social politics, who, you know, maybe would take it a little far with some of their assertions. And then you would have people on the right who would kind of cherry pick some of these really extreme viewpoints and blast it on Fox News and other news outlets, propaganda outlets, and say, look, this is what everything on the left is like. It's all woke, woke, woke. And it just became so overused that now I couldn't even tell you. It means like so many things to so many different people. I really think it's lost a lot of its meaning over the years. Oh yeah. Yeah, no problem, Andreas. Thanks for being here, man. It's kind of the same with the party FRP in Norway, like the ruling party in Italy. I'm actually not that I'm familiar with quite a few different countries' politics, at least some of them pretty intimately, some of them in passing. I'm actually not very familiar with Norwegian politics, so that's interesting. I should educate myself on that a bit. All right. Now then. Okay, so moving on. So let's see. Let's do a few videos. We've discussed the fundraiser, we've discussed updates to the fundraiser. We went over a few articles, and those have been shared in chat in the video description. So next, I've got a video here, and this is also related to the war. And I hope I don't have any YouTube ads. All right, so let me share this video. This is from Reuters, and I'm going to put the link in chat, and I'm also going to put it in the description. Oh, and let me close the question real fast. There we go. Now then, this is regarding some recent news that, I mean, this has been known for a while, but it's really getting a little more coverage here recently. And part of it is because this doesn't bode well for the war not expanding, not just specifically in Europe, but to other places such as Asia. And yeah, the title of this video is Russia used North Korea provided missiles in Ukraine. All right, share. And let's watch. Let me know if the audio sounds good.
Our information indicates that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea recently provided Russia with ballistic missile launchers and several ballistic missiles. On the 30th of December, 2023, Russian forces launched at least one of these North Korean ballistic missiles into Ukraine. This missile appears to have landed in an open field in the Zaporizhia region. And on January 2nd, Russia launched multiple North Korean ballistic missiles, including as part of its overnight aerial attack. We're still assessing the impacts of these additional missiles. These North Korean ballistic missiles.
Pausing it because I try to do that. I try to do like every 30 seconds or so in a video. So yeah, we've all known it. Russia has very few places to go right now for the kind of weapons they need for a war of this scale, and they're trying not to fully break their economy and actually end up with, a revolt against the Kremlin, against their dictatorship. So, the best way to do that is to just rely on another dictatorship to do some things for you and force their people to do it. So, yep, makes sense.
Are capable of ranges of approximately 900 kilometers. That's about 550 miles. This is a significant and concerning escalation in the DPRK's support for Russia. Now, in return for its support, we assess that Pyongyang is seeking military assistance from Russia, including fighter aircraft, surface-to-air missiles, armored vehicles, ballistic missile production equipment or materials, and other advanced technologies. As for their inventory now, again, I want to be careful here, but I would just put it this way, that we haven't seen anything that would tell us that Russia is not still reliant on munitions and missiles from North Korea.
So you think you know.
Oh, hold on. Can you all still hear me? Because I don't know if there's a connection issue there for a second or not. I hope not. In any case. All right. So, yeah. The continued offering and supply of rockets, of missiles, of munitions to the Russian Federation by the so-called, because it's really oxymoronic, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, because they're not democratic. They're not for the people. They're not technically they're a republic, but not really. It's more like a monarchy. It's more like a theocracy, cult of the leader. They're not even communist, really. It's more of a. It reminds me of the Khmer Rouge from Cambodia, except on steroids and with a tighter control on their people in a 1984 style. But in any case, yeah. Hopefully we see some change there. Hopefully we see South Korea start assisting Ukraine much more. But also, of course, we have to keep in mind that North Korea, it's important to counter them. Very important. We don't want to see a war expand into the Korean Peninsula. But here's the thing. Neither do Russia or China. And maybe Russia would, because that would possibly benefit them. It probably would, because there would be a really big distraction away from the war in Ukraine. But China absolutely does not want that. And Russia does not want to piss off China. So, yeah, South Korea. If anyone is listening who's Korean, or if you have any Korean friends, send this portion of this video to them. Yeah. Please help Ukraine. The North is helping Russia. The South has big guns. The South is strong. Direct military involvement and support from the U.S. Yeah. Please stand with Ukraine. Now then. All right. Let's see. What else have we got here? Okay. Let's go over a bit more news. What have we got here? You know, typically I go over videos from Ukraine TV from Jersey. Today, let's see. For today, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's take a look at let's take a look at some updates from we won't watch the whole thing because it's a lot longer, but let's go ahead and talk to let's take a look at an update that comes from Dennis. For anyone who's not familiar, Dennis Davidov, he is a pilot and a Ukrainian YouTube content creator. He's been on YouTube for a while. He started with aviation content and, of course, like many others, shifted his focus to content in support of his country when this illegal invasion from Russia began. Oh, is South Korea well equipped? Yes, I will say that. Yes, South Korea is very well equipped. Now, of course, North Korea to the north of them, maybe they don't have the most modern equipment, but they force they use a ridiculous amount of their GDP toward war preparation, and they conscript force that pretty much like half of their population into conflict, or at least that's their strategy if they ever go to war. So South Korea with the United States together definitely outguns North Korea, but they always have the worry of a war breaking out. So yeah, there's the concern that even if they're well equipped, they don't want to be weakened by a war since there are other regional rivals in the area. There's more to it than just that, but that's a simple way of putting it. Oh, hey, Elena. Hey, I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you. Yeah. I personally know Elena. She's a very good person. And always glad to see her here on a stream. All right, now then. Let's take a look. I need to get YouTube Premium. I'm so tired of dealing with ads during streams. Oh, and before I do that, let me share a link to Dennis's video. And I'll put it in the description. And now let's watch. And I'm gonna, hold on, full screen. Oh, shoot. Hold on, I'm gonna turn off my ticker, which I probably should do whenever I'm reacting to videos anyway. But just out of a courtesy, I'm going to turn that off while we're watching this. Actually, yeah, we'll just turn it off for now. All right, and let's watch.
Hello my friends and welcome. My name is Dennis and this is the latest update from you. Let's do Brian Stopol. Just yesterday, Ukraine performed the aerial attack on the city, targeting the Russian command headquarters with many of the officers inside. It is happening not for the first time. Few months ago, Ukraine already targeted the Russian Navy headquarters, severely damaging the building. The building was almost destroyed. Well, today some of the sources spread the information that the Russian General Commander Gerasimov was inside the command headquarters building by the time there was the attack of the Ukrainian army. And they say that he probably lost his life. Well,
I do hope that Gerasimov is gone. I mean, if he is or is not, I mean, so many members of the Russian military command structure have, just churned through. It may be a meat grinder for infantry on the front lines. That is absolutely true, but it's also been pretty bad for officers, commanders, for sergeants, for generals. I mean, for generals who have been eliminated from the Russian side in this war. I don't know how they even can bother calling this a quote unquote special military operation. It's been devastating. It's been a devastating war for the Russian side in terms of their image, in terms of their equipment, in terms of the lives of their men. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Also, let me turn captions on for those who want them.
Well, actually, my friends, I wouldn't trust that information for now. It is not the first time that it's been reported about Gerasimov's death. We do not have the proofs, we do not have anything to confirm this information. Yes, there is still a small chance for this information to be true, but I wouldn't bet on that. But the good thing that the Russian command was attacked again, and I believe that many of the officers followed the Russian Moskva ship. Plus, there was the attack on the Russian Saki airfield in Crimea again. Probably I showed you those pictures in my yesterday's video. Again, the main building, the headquarters of the airfield, was attacked, and it's been reported that more than 20 of the Russian soldiers lost their lives or were wounded. So the infrastructure of the airfield itself, I mean taxiways, runways, fuel storages, were not targeted. This time only the main buildings where the personnel is located. The Telegraph came out with information about the possible Russian massive attack. So they say that Ukraine braces for renewed Russian offensive near Kharkiv in Kupiansk direction. So they predict that on 15th of January, Russia might start the massive attack. So they say about the city of Kupiansk, which is very important, by the way. It's located on a crossroad. Russia lost it back in 2022. So the source says that Russia will try to attack from this place and also maybe from this place and from different directions. Well, actually the Russian attacks are already happening, especially near to Avdiivka. All of those were repelled by Ukrainian army, and Russia has no success in Avdiivka, but rather losing their and army personnel. So obviously Russia might accumulate lots of the forces over here, but it's not the fact that their assault might be successful towards Kupiansk. Potentially it could be, because Putin has the political goal to occupy the city till the elections in March. He needs to show some of the success to his chauvinist population, and Kupiansk plus Avdiivka are two possible main achievements for.
Yeah, the situation in Kupiansk, I, Putin has no illusion of being able to take all of Ukraine. Save some disastrous change in the situation at the front lines, which hopefully does not happen. That there's no way for him to take all of Ukraine. Ukraine has been smart and strategic about preparing to prevent Russia from rolling in and trying to take over Kiev, for example. But yeah, as a political victory, Avdiivka, Kupiansk, basically any other city that he could take, he doesn't really need it to prevent losing in a civil election. I want people to understand that there is no other political rival to Putin who, under the current Russian system, could win under his rules, under Putin's rules. This is more to legitimize his rule in the eyes of those who would militarily oppose him, in the eyes of generals, in the eyes of extremist organizations inside of Russia, because they do exist, and some of them are just as bad or worse than Putin and his crew, his political allies within Russia. But the difference is they just don't like Putin and they don't like the current system. Think of them as like MAGA extremists, or even an extremist or hate group that would be listed by something like the Southern Poverty Law Center, but in Russia. And they don't like Putin for any number of reasons. Because he's not extreme enough, because they don't feel like he does enough for a particular group within Russia, whatever it might be, based off religion or ethnicity or whatever the case might be. There's a lot of different groups that lobby for power in Russia, and Putin's goal is to keep them in line. Yeah. Repelling anything that could be used as a political victory at home, it does have importance. And we want to try to create a situation where Russian stability at the societal level begins to crumble. Because there needs to be a reset in Russia. Putin needs to be out of power.
The Russian regime. Just remember how they were happy about the Marinka occupation, or what was left from that village. Ukraine resisted there for many years, since 2014, but it's just a village, a small one. So how would Russia sail towards Kupiansk? I think that they would fail with it, and with all of their group that they created based on experience that we saw in Avdiivka. What is happening to the Russian vehicles and infantry is crazy. So for Ukraine, it's crucial, obviously, to build the defense lines using this time. I would say that the Telegraph article was nothing more but the article for the article, because Russia has already started the attack towards Kupiansk, as well as in many other directions, for example, towards Liman. Also in that article, they say that there is the big risk for Crimea, but Crimea is occupied by the Russian forces. So analytics about the Telegraph article, well, there is no analytics. Basically, the journalists who made the article didn't make the research. Ukraine has started to use the HIMARS rocket artillery systems more widely on the front lines. Those are two of the Russian artillery systems known as, and both of them were targeted with a single HIMARS missile, causing the devastation. So why Russia put those two together, I'm out of clue. This happened in Zaporizhia Oblast, the southern part of Ukraine. You can see there are lots of the munition and the supply vehicle, which also was targeted. About the supply vehicles, Russia is losing many of them all around the front lines. Even though those Buhanka vans look clumsy, but they play a very important role for the Russian army, delivering the shells just to the artillery positions, plus many more of the other supplies, so it's very critical to target them, and unfortunately Russia has many of those vans. They are very cheap in production and they have more than average of road.
How do you automate?
Ads. I am probably going to go ahead and just buckle and get YouTube Premium. Because it's either that or downloading, and hoping that the download and stream quality is good from a local video. And played around with that, but honestly, I'd rather just be able to stream it directly from YouTube. So hold on, let me skip this. Also, yeah, there's a quick highlight just because I'm making sure it works with my software. If anyone's interested in the anti-drone gun fundraiser, you can find that send.monobank.ua to help the 110th Mechanized Brigade. And if we close that out, we'll officially have closed out our first fundraiser. So, yeah. Feel free to take a look, guys, or through PayPal. All right, here we go.
But at the same time, those are not very reliable. However, they do not live for a long time. That is why it's not the big disadvantage. You know what? Russia again tried to attack the Krinky village. It is located in Kherson.
Wait, I just want to pause for a sec because I just saw some chat. Wow, just got an ad and I'm if there are still ads on premium, then I will be incredibly annoyed. If there's no ad-free version of YouTube anymore, then well, I mean, we'll just keep doing what we're doing right now, which is, you know, watch a video and then pause and skip the you know, the ads, but there has to be, or at least less. YouTube knows how to make their money. Ugh. Just kidding. Please don't take down my channel, YouTube. The algorithm gods are watching. Anyway, let's continue.
Oblast across the Dnieper River. Our guys have the bridgehead out there, and the drone commander Magyar with his unit is operating out there. So they sent dramatic images from the place about the destroyed Russian convoys. So here we go, the full video I published on my Telegram channel because I'm unable to show you everything on this platform, my friends. What I can say that again Russia advanced with their armored vehicles plus infantry forces. This time they didn't use the tanks but were ambushed anyways. As far as I remember, it's the fourth Russian advancement attempt towards Krinky village. And yet none of those forces are reaching Krinky. They all were executed on the way, and Ukraine do not have tanks or heavy armor vehicles in those positions. So what our guys do there is absolutely extraordinary. Stopping the Russian assaults in those conditions, it's just crazy. Again, FPV drones help a lot. Nevertheless, Russia continued the advancement today, for example, in Avdiivka region. One more attack attempt in reaching Berdichi or Stepova. However, it was conducted somewhere over here on the north from those villages. Let's check out again this source. So Russia took some of the ground out there. However, Ukraine tries to attack back. We see lots of the artillery fire and also the Ukrainian counterattack attempt towards this sector. And here, as you probably can see, the Russian vehicles on fire. So this attack attempt from the Russian side is complete failure. Ukraine is also using some of the surveillance systems to identify the Russian positions and the Russian vehicles. Then they move out to attack Ukraine. And what we see here is the big Russian advance towards Terny before Ukraine performed a counterattack pushing Russian forces.
Hey, sorry. I had a weird bug open all of a sudden because in order to have access to all of the useful tools on YouTube, I keep both my YouTube Studio and another software open. Actually, I've got 3 open that I coordinate with to do all the streaming. Technically, there's a 4th, but I haven't integrated it yet. And for some weird reason, YouTube Studio likes to do stuff like get glitched me to sign in the middle of a stream. In any case, I'm sorry to hear that happen, Charlie. All right. In any case, yeah, so watch a little bit more of this, just a little bit, but Dennis did a great job with his breakdown of everything. And actually, I mean, there's a lot going on. a lot going on at the front lines, and he does a very good job of giving a detailed breakdown of it all. So if you aren't subscribed, go check out Dennis's channel. I respect the work that he does. He really cares about his country a lot. And actually, he mentioned something just a moment ago that I think important. Let me check. Oh, and we got another question, so let me check something real fast. So I'm actually going to start a poll. Actually, you know what? I won't start a poll because I'll just ask you guys to type your suggestions in chat. I know that a lot of people use Telegram, or maybe they used to use Twitter. I don't know if they still do. Or they'll use things like Rumble or other channels for posting content that YouTube won't allow. Do any of you use a platform like Telegram or like Mastodon or Rumble or PeerTube, whatever it might be, that typically allows more graphic content? And is that something you would want to see linked, like things that I can't show you on YouTube, but that are important to share nonetheless because of the realities of this war? If there's a platform that any of you use commonly for that, let me know. Honestly, I've been avoiding Telegram a bit, mostly because, kind of like TikTok and Zoom, I don't trust where it originally came from, the original developers of the platform. But it also is pretty widely used among a lot of pro-Ukraine content creators, and has a history of back and forth opposition and then acquiescence to the will of the Russian state. So let me know your thoughts, if there are any platforms that would be good for that, and if you want to see it. All right, let's watch a little bit and then we'll move on.
Away from Terni, but it seems like Russia accumulated new forces and they've took the ground back again. Can they potentially reach Terni and all of those settlements near to those lakes? Well, yes, but not in a close perspective. They've already got many of the attempts, but each time were thrown back. So I do expect that Ukraine will attack them again. At least we have the artillery fire marks from the Ukrainian side. Alright, let's check more of the Russian achievements. They say that they've targeted the RST system. Well, indeed, there is the video of the Lancer drone which flies towards the system and hit the ground in front of it, not causing any kind of the damages to this decoy. Yes, it's not the RST system, it's the dummy. They show one more RST system, as they say, which was targeted again by the Lancer drone. This time, yes, the drone hit the decoy right into the rocket compartment, so it should have been the huge explosion in this case, but nothing happened, because those are not the RST systems, not real systems, but as I say to you, decoys. So let me see the distance over here and over here. Yeah, it looks similar, but at the same time very different. Plus we have the confirmation from the German side that Ukraine hadn't lost any kind of the RST air defense systems. But Russia already put those in their statistics of the destroyed targets, as well as many of the HIMARS systems. I believe more than 30.
Hold on, let me back this up a little bit.
Over here and over here. Yeah, it looks similar, but at the same time very different. Plus we have the confirmation from the German side that Ukraine hadn't lost any kind of the RST air defense systems. But Russia already put those in their statistics of the destroyed targets, as well as many of the HIMARS systems. I believe more than 30, they say. Ukraine widely uses those systems around the front lines, putting them usually on the open fields to be identified by the Russian surveillance, and later on Russia hits the targets with their Lancet drones. About the vehicle losses for the last 3 days, well, Russia lost 8.
Okay. That's interesting. That's good information to have about how numbers are being counted. And a good reminder, never trust Russian sources for anything, because according to them, they've probably defeated 1 million Ukrainians and wiped out 98% of HIMARS, because that's how outlandish the numbers on the Russian side tend to be. Okay, we're already 9 minutes in. So let's see, is there anything else here? Oh, here's one last thing I want to see. Also, I can't remember. Yeah. So, okay, so I see a lot of people don't use other platforms. Russia does use Telegram a lot, and that is because Telegram is originally from Russia. And for anyone who's not aware, the founders were not very fond of Putin, and so they kept their platform open for criticism of the government, which the government didn't like, and forced them to leave the country and become citizens in the Korean, because they were really rich after money they had made, where I think they still reside there and run their company from the Caribbean in St. Kitts Nevis. And it's been this political back and forth for the heart and soul of Telegram. Is it, you know, does it fall in line with the Kremlin, or does it allow voices from within Russia and beyond to oppose the Kremlin? And that's kind of the debate right now, at least that I've seen when it comes to Telegram, for anyone who pays attention to the political implications of a platform. Can it be trusted or not? And that's part of the reason why I haven't started using Telegram. But yeah, a lot of people use it to post more graphic footage stuff. And actually, I don't even know why I'm considering using a separate platform. I could always just set my own website for posting all of that, which I actually do have a website in the works, so that's not coming anytime too soon, but keep an eye out for that as well. Anyway. All right. So, all right, this has been pretty good. Let's see. I guess the next thing I'm going to do right now. All right, we're going to do a few things. First, I have been, as I mentioned, so busy. I've just been trying to catch up on things being lined up and set up for this channel. But I want to support not only our fundraisers and campaigns, but fellow Ukraine creators and those who support Ukraine in general. One thing I've been wanting to do is at least every month have a focus for a good organization that supports Ukraine to donate to and to encourage others to donate to. We kind of highlighted Glenda's Kind House Ukraine Bakery before. But we've talked, who we've talked about a lot, but we haven't really posted directly here on the channel a fundraiser link for. That would be Rick. And so I'm going to do right now is make a donation to our fundraisers as well as one of Rick's fundraisers. And let me get all that ready right now. Ooh, I just got a suggestion from someone to use Substack, which I had been looking into just the other day. Thank you very much for that. I will look into that more closely. All right, here we go. This is the one that we're going to donate to today. I'm going to pull it up right now. Okay. There it is. Sorry. Discord was giving me trouble for half a second. All right. Let me switch over to this tab now so I can show all of you. Okay. Here we go. And for all unfamiliar, Rick the Ukrainian, who has a channel and he's a really great guy, good friend. He's got a Nafo truck fundraiser going. A couple of different channels do Nafo truck fundraisers. Rick recently has done a couple actually. This is not the first one. And if you donate, you can get one of these two snazzy patches right here. Rick the Ukrainian patch, and this is Rick has had a cat that unfortunately passed away recently. Rest in peace, Floki. And this is a patch to support Ukrainian armed forces that is created in Floki's memory. So, yeah. And it is a pretty good sized fundraiser, 28% done. Currently working our way up to 80,000 euros. And all right, let's see here. Donate batch. If I'm not mistaken, donations to this can be 100 euros to get one patch, 200 for two patches, 300 for three. You don't have to do any of these. If you just want to donate a smaller amount and you're not after one of the patches or any of these other perks, such as one of the Ukrainian unit original patches, which would be an actual patch from one of their units that are serving in Ukraine, and including text that you want put onto the vehicle that's delivered. This would be a truck that is used by Ukrainian armed forces. You know, if you just want to do a smaller amount, that is 100% feasible. And personally, I have had a lot of expenses this month, so I'm not going to do one of these. I'm just going to do a smaller donation. but I still want to help out, and this is for a very important cause. So, yeah. All right. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to get all of that set up while I'm doing that. You know what? While I'm getting the donation set up, because I'm going to do his first, and then I'm also going to do our donations. Oh, wait. Actually, yeah. I'm going to get all this set up right now. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to leave you guys with this for half a second. Just something peaceful and flowing in the background. We'll do this one. All right, one sec while I get this set up. Oh, actually, very important. I almost forgot. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to this in chat and pin it. So if anyone else wants to join, unlike Monobank, this website for help99.co, official website for a lot of these NAFO truck campaigns, payments to this typically work without an issue. So yeah, if you want to join in with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit card, PayPal, however you desire to donate, then feel free to do so. And I'm going to put that in the track right now, in the chat right now. Oh, and actually, if I'm not mistaken, there's another question we have, but I will get to that in a moment after these donations. Oh, hold on, what's this? There's an issue with the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense homepage. Okay, I'm going to take a look at that in a sec. Let me do all this before I get distracted. All right. Almost have this done. Okay. Oh, let's see. Work. Okay. Okay. Well, the website does work, but I don't actually have my PayPal account all set up right now. And hold on. Aha, here we go. All right, there we go. So let me make sure there's nothing on here. Actually, there's transaction ID on here. I don't know if that's a problem to show it or not. So instead, let me do this. Thankfully, that was, once I got to the right, using PayPal was a lot faster and easier. All right, here's what we'll do, just because I don't know if I should show this transaction ID or not. I'm going to just share the image of the donation with you real fast. Boom. And let's go back to this page. What's not? Okay. Here we go. And let's see. All right. There we go. That works better. Oh, no, it doesn't. But why does it only show part of it? Oh, that's why. Okay, so yeah, that email address is linked to the donation platform for this going to the NAFO truck for that Rick is helping with. And I went ahead and made the donation, did PayPal. And so if anyone wishes to join me, it's pinned there in the chat. And yeah, every dollar, every euro, every whatever currency you might be using, it all goes to a good cause. And yeah, those trucks do save lives. They help soldiers a lot. All right. Now then, let's go and jump into our fundraisers now. So, okay. Yeah, so I think we got another donation to the anti-drone gun here recently. And if so, thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. And I'm going to make donations now to these. If Anton is still with us, he should be able to transfer those donations if he's still here on stream. If not, then it'll be reflected here momentarily. Let me make those donations right quick. Yeah, thank you for sharing the Nafa Truck campaign link, and Hell. Thank you very much. All right, so there's some for the FPV drones. And I'm going to send a little more right now for the anti-drone gun. And if you wish to join me on that for our channel's fundraisers, then you can do so here. There's a ticker on the screen again now. PayPal donations to help 110th. On PayPal, just go to the search option and search for Anton's email, tonikachenko27@gmail.com. And yeah, I'll really appreciate it if you guys join me. And we will stand with Ukraine, just as we do every day, every week. Yeah. No matter what, support Ukraine for as long as it takes, as long as they need. Okay, let's see here. Oh, okay, perfect. All right. All right, so we've been going for about 2 hours now. We're going to keep going a little bit longer because thankfully I do not have anything immediately related or family related or travel related that is, requiring me to leave. So yeah, for however many of you want to continue to join me here. Going to go over a few more things. First and foremost, let me go ahead and transition. So we've got this ready for something I've already covered before, but we're gonna cover again right now. And I'm sending links to mods at this moment. Let's see. Yes. So the you see right now in chat, the call for Congress to pass Ukraine aid, that is very important. We've covered it on the channel before. And in addition, all right. So in addition, we have an active campaign for urging Congress to help to continue supporting Ukraine. And we have one for EU citizens to contact the European Parliament as well as their own national government representatives and urge them to continue supporting Ukraine. And both of these we are currently seeking to expand, get some more interested individuals on board. And we've got people who have been making calls, sending emails, sending physical mail on a regular basis. I myself have been doing so. I'm planning to do so again here momentarily after the stream. And yeah, let me go ahead and share this. So there we go. All right. So first, for Americans who may be watching and who have an interest. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much, mods. Sorry for not getting those to you sooner. But in any case, so both of these link to Google spreadsheets, which and if you can also email if you are really from anywhere, a U.S. citizen, an EU citizen. At some point, I'd like to expand it beyond just those two camps and include even non-NATO, non-EU citizens who are supportive of Ukraine to be able to lobby their governments. But right now, just because I'm the only one running it and we need more interested people to expand it, it's just focused on the US and EU. And yeah, if you would have an interest in getting involved in this, either taking part with the calling and messaging campaign or assisting with organizing all of this, it is being set up to meet on a weekly basis, getting all of that set up along with exactly where the meetings will take place, most likely on Discord. But for right now, the links that you see in chat for the US campaign, if you're an American, or the EU campaign, if you're a European citizen, if you click on either one of those, it should tell you that you don't have access and you need to request it. If you request access, then I should get a message. I should get a message in my email letting me know that you have an interest, that you want access to it, and I can then provide that to you. So yeah, definitely check that out. The more people that we have involved, the more people who are interested into their representatives and making it clear, hey, we're doing all that we can as grassroots volunteers. We support Ukraine. You represent us, and you guys, the key to unlocking literally billions of aid, both humanitarian and military equipment. You know, just do it. Just stand with Ukraine. If you don't, then it's going to affect how I vote in the next election. You tell them that, and any politician from a real democracy, anywhere, they're going to listen to you. At the very least, they're going to take your words into consideration, and it'll be an influencing factor in how they operate in their political arena, if enough people do it. And let me switch over to these so you guys can see them right quick. I'm gonna, as per usual, I'm gonna go ahead and hide the names and the emails of volunteers on the sheet while I'm, broadcasting live. So we'll start with the US one. And yes, same with the EU one, hide. All right, here we go. Share screen. Okay, there we go. And you'll see that I've hidden the names and emails for now for privacy's sake, because this is on YouTube. And yeah, this is for January. This is for December. And also got links over here for useful, basically links for being able to do the calling, emailing, and physical letter writing, where you can find the phone, email addresses, and physical addresses for those in the US as well as the EU represents. This is the US side. I've shown this before on stream, but just doing it again. And now I have an actual link, so you don't have to just directly email me, which I know not everyone uses email. The more links you can have for people to click that take them exactly where they need to go and kind of show them what to do, I mean, it makes a difference. Yeah. So if you're interested, feel free to click on the links and request access. But yeah, had a few in December. Of course, it was a holiday season, including all the way into 1st of January. So we're very, very busy. But yeah, you'll see on the American side, both in December and January, multiple people calling and leaving voicemails, using the Community for Ukraine as well as Razom links. Like here, you had someone who did both call and leave a voicemail and do a Razom email. Another person who did a voicemail down here, someone who sent snail mail down here to 2 senators and a representative. My printer is broken, so I need to, not broken, it's not broken, just needs ink. I need to go get ink for my printer and set it up. But yeah, I'm sending some physical letters as well. And then over here, yeah, same in January. I'm going to be doing one here momentarily. We got people who are actively continuing to do so this month. And we need more people on board. So if you are interested, definitely let me know. Definitely click those links. Beyond that, let me go ahead and jump over to the EU side for anyone who's watching who is European. And This side is a little newer, just is set up starting out this month, and we've got, I think, so far about 3 people on here who have signed up, a few others who have been invited but haven't officially accessed the sheet yet. So if you are already signed up and you're watching right now, feel free to jump over to the EU sheet and fill in your information. I've got it closed right now for privacy for everyone who has signed up. But what I ask is, if you're going to, just put a name. It can be a real name, or it can be a username, a pseudonym, whatever name you go by online. And then optionally, it's preferred if you also put in parentheses the country that you're from in the EU, just so we can keep track of, you know, uh, how many people are contacting the representatives from where, because there are certain countries where it's more strategic. It's very, very helpful to have a lot of people reaching out to their representatives there. And then an email, just an email where you can be reached at. The email is also optional. If you want to literally just put a username and that's it. And you can just be posting every day whenever you've reached out to your representatives. And we don't even need to know where you're from or your email. But it does help just to keep track of, for efficiency. So completely up to you. But in any case, yeah. So this is an initiative that we're going to keep doing. It doesn't cost anything. If you're someone who's been wanting to find ways to help Ukraine, but you don't have the money, but you might be able to put in a little bit of time, and a bit of time is, I've timed this. It does not take very long. Like the phone calls are one of the most effective ways, I think, both voicemails and talking to, whoever your elected official is, their representative, their assistants, because then they talk to the representative. It might take, like, in some countries, you might even speak directly to your representative. It just varies from country to country. But regardless, it takes like 10 minutes, less than that. If you're calling only one representative, and if that's how it works with your country, then it's maybe 5 minutes, if even that, of your day, especially if you're leaving a voicemail. If you're an American citizen, 2 senators and a representative. I've timed it, and if you just follow the script on the Community for Ukraine, which I have the link right. Let me switch back over here, the US side. Oh, real fast for the European side, we also have links over here. Oh, over here, with multiple links related to contacting EU Parliament, and then individuals from multiple countries that compose the EU. We're going to have links for them to be able to use as well, who have shown interest, and setting up letter templates in multiple languages as well. So those are the next steps. But going back over to the US side, if I click on this, the Community for Ukraine link, of course it opens in a new tab, but let me share that tab. Then you will find here, communityforukraine.org, this page with all 50 states and a very short script. Leave a voicemail to 3 numbers. You could do it once a day if you want to. You could do it just occasionally throughout the week when you have time. Maybe set a reminder for yourself. If you're from, let's say, Louisiana, because we need a lot of people from Louisiana to speak in favor of Ukraine. I'll be honest. If you know someone from Louisiana, let them know. This is important. Please. It is important. Don't stand with the Russians. If you don't like, if you don't like authoritarianism, if you like democracy, if you care about people having freedom, if you really care about freedom, then stand with Ukraine. And the more people from the state in particular who get involved would be fantastic, because anyone who's familiar with the current situation in U.S. Congress, with the current Speaker of the House, who is from Louisiana, let me share this. keeps opening new tabs. Anyway, so here's Louisiana, and here's an example zoomed in for you of this. All you would have to say is, my name is blank. I am a constituent. My zip code is blank. I support U.S. aid to Ukraine, and if you are someone who votes, which is important, this issue will affect my vote in the next election. And yeah, you get 20 people, you get 50 people doing that to the same representatives. They're going to pay attention. They're going to be like, oh, okay, okay, yeah, maybe I'm gonna start paying attention to Ukraine again. All right, now then, so that's basically it for right now. We're at almost 2.5 hours. As far as campaigns being done here on the channel, as far as let's see. Yeah, as far as our on the channel go, as far as the fundraisers and the call to representatives, the campaign to get representatives to support Ukraine, it's all continuing onward. We're going to keep doing this every day, every week. And yeah, I hope you guys keep tuning in. All right. With that, I think that should just about wrap it up for today. Only other thing that I'll include right quick is keep an eye out. As I mentioned before, there's a Discord server being set up. I'm going to go work on that right now after this stream so I can get it set up, because we already have people in it. And I still have a few finished touches for the initial version of the server. It's going to continue to evolve and improve and update over time. But yeah, initial version is just about ready. And keep an eye out for shorts, because I'd been meaning to set them up. I've got an idea for kind of a series that I'm going to set up pretty soon. It's going to be called Freedom Phrases. And I kind of got a little bit of inspiration to do it from Anna from Ukraine. If you don't know her, go check out her channel. She is fantastic. Again, another very dedicated person who loves her country. She does something called Ukrainian Word of the Day, which is just a word or a phrase in Ukrainian. Sometimes it's for educational purpose. Sometimes it's a phrase that kind of makes it clear the sentiment of Ukrainians toward Russian occupiers in their land. So sometimes the word or phrase might be very emotional or heartfelt. Sometimes it might be humorous. Sometimes it might just be informational, like a regular word or phrase if you're trying to learn Ukrainian. With freedom phrases, it's going to be kind of similar, with a primary focus on phrases and words in Ukrainian. But what I really want to do is set it up to where it's phrases that emphasize human liberty and freedom and the right to peace and prosperity and, democratic national sovereignty, respecting human rights from all around the world. So the primary focus will be on phrases in Ukrainian, but then, if there's someone, if you are an individual, a person who is from a country that is supportive of Ukraine, or you yourself are supportive of Ukraine, and you have a phrase in your native language that you would want to, I don't know, submit a small recording of yourself with or without your face being shown of how to pronounce it, then yeah, I might take submissions and consider putting those up as shorts on the channel. And I'll probably also attempt to do a few in different languages myself. But yeah, keep a lookout for that. The first few should be dropping very soon. Ooh, Starsky and Rick are going to be on it tomorrow. Yeah, Starsky and Rick have both been working together a lot more recently, which I'm very, very happy to see, because Rick has been working hard. His community has been growing. He does a lot to help his country how he can with the stuff that he does. And yeah, Starsky's amazing. He's awesome. He finds individuals to highlight from around the world who are supportive of Ukraine, who and to work with who are supportive of Ukraine, who otherwise might not be noticed quite as much. And yeah, I think he does a really good job with his networking and shining a spotlight on people who deserve the attention. So yeah, real happy to see that and hear about that. Okay, cool. Oh, that's tomorrow. All right. Oh, and I guess I guess the last thing I'll close on real fast is I just realized that I almost forgot about the question we still had. All right, we have one last question, and then we're going to close out the stream because I don't want it to be forgotten. Oh, actually, let me make sure. Yeah, I don't see any questions in. Okay. So last question that was asked here on YouTube that I see is actually related to U.S. politics. Oh, hold on. Yeah. And the question is, what about John Kirby or Anthony Blinken for president? Well, Anthony Blinken, I'm more familiar with. I actually haven't kept up with John Kirby a whole lot, if I'm being honest. So someone who's more security-minded, as the commander-in-chief of the United States might be what you're saying. This was a question from Sweet70433. I mean, at the end of the day, American politics is what it is. I feel like it's kind of like saying, what about Bernie Sanders or RFK Jr. or, insert multiple other third choices that people kind of have thoughts about, who could or what would it be like if they were president. I mean, at the end of the day, it's looking like a political deadlock where it'll be another round of another election between Biden and Trump, and both sides have been getting their bases fired up for that. It could end up being Biden versus Nikki Haley or versus DeSantis. I don't think Chris Christie will be able to get a nomination. I also don't think Ramaswamy would be able to either. Probably either Nikki Haley or DeSantis would be my prediction. Now, theoretically, if John Kirby or Anthony Blinken were able to become president, I mean, I don't know. I keep up with politics from all around the world, including the U.S., but I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure Anthony Blinken is pretty pro-Ukraine. As far as John Kirby goes, well, yeah, that's right. Because I had been looking earlier, and I did see that John Kirby had offered an assessment about Russia's military capabilities in Ukraine and the degradation of the Russian military at this time during the conflict. And also, yeah, his criticism of or rather, not criticism, but urging of Congress to act on getting funding unlocked that would go to multiple places, including Ukraine. I would have to do more in-depth research on both of those individuals to really see a prediction of what the political situation might be with either one of them in charge instead of Joe Biden or Donald Trump. We all know that Trump would be the worst for multiple things, domestic and foreign, for Americans. He basically is a cult leader, a con man, and a narcissist who, yeah, is kind of honestly, among useful idiots, Donald Trump is the most useful idiot for foreign despots such as Vladimir Putin, who wish to see the United States weakened, because I don't know if he even realizes how much damage he does. Maybe he does and he doesn't care, or he's making enough money that he doesn't care, gets enough power because he is a narcissist. I do honestly believe that. But regardless, Biden has not been bad, but there just isn't enough political. There isn't a way to get the holdouts, especially MAGA holdouts right now, to agree to help Ukraine unless Biden and his party make big concessions on certain things that they consider to be incredibly important. More importantly, their constituents and political allies consider to be very important, such as the US-Mexico border situation. And making those, some people say, well, why not just make those concessions? Broker a deal so that aid can get to Ukraine, and, funding for other things that the US government needs to get money flowing to. I think there's a lot of reasons, but there's a twofold issue with that. I'm going off on a tangent, but one would be because it's expected they would just keep asking for more. Once you get, the old saying, give an inch and then they'll take a mile. It kind of puts disproportionate influence into a few people's hands, who then will probably reach for more and more, and there isn't really trust that they'll keep their word about passing things, that they'll just get what they want and then not cooperate in return in good faith. And the second is because there is an election coming up, and if Ukraine wants to get more support, Biden has to win the election. And if he does things to send aid immediately that then hurts his political base and causes him to lose an election to Donald Trump, if Donald Trump is the Republican candidate, it's game over, man. 4 years. 4 years of Donald Trump will mean 4 years of likely either none whatsoever or token ceremony, paltry aid to Ukraine, just to say, oh, we're still sending it, but it's like 1 million or 5 million, which is nothing in geopolitical terms. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my thought on the matter. They'd probably be better than Trump, but compared to Biden, I don't know if they'd be able to really rally the politicians in Washington, D.C. in a way that would make a meaningful difference in the short term. Question. All right, and with that, since I didn't want to leave a question unanswered, we're going to now call it good and close out the stream. Just read a few of your comments real fast and then do so. Hey, Michael, it's good to see you. Yep, exactly. 4 more years of Trump would sink the U.S. economy. And you know what would happen after that? Donald Trump would be on a metaphorical rowboat or speedboat directly to the next ship he could get his feet on, which probably would be Russia or, I don't know, any other place where he could have his fortune and live out his days and, I don't know, blame all the failings of him and his administration on someone else in history. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. Basically, it would not be good. Yeah, I agree, Silver Earth. concentration camps. Exactly. And that's it. Like, you think that the support for Biden right now with support, with the support he had been giving to Israel has been an issue? Because he was getting flack from both the right and the left for supporting a country that historically has been seen as a U.S. ally. Of course, that conflict has a lot of major issues. I'm not going to go into Israel, Palestine stream, but if you thought he was getting flack for that, imagine if you compound the issues and the lack of trust and faith from that situation on top of a renewed border, renewed focus on the border crisis, specifically with really closing and tightening things and people being, put into detention facilities in mass, like in the Trump days. It's political suicide. It would probably mean that Biden would lose an election. As hard it is to believe, it probably would cost that. And that's something the Biden administration is trying to avoid. All right. Cool. Well, I don't see any more questions or anything. And yeah, I appreciate you all for being here. Please keep standing. Yeah, please keep standing with Ukraine. Make sure to tune in not just to Tridents Against Tyrants, but to all trustworthy channels, news outlets. Do your homework, do your fact checking. If you don't do fact checking or additional research on resources that you encounter, then I encourage you to be sure to do so, because none of us want to encounter, like me personally, in the last year, there's been more than one YouTube channel and more than one news outlet, including directly from Ukraine, who I thought were trustworthy. And I'm not naming any of them specifically here, but then doing a little bit of digging, find that it's a bit sketchy or a bit uncertain exactly how much support has been given to Ukraine. That's only been with a few, actually. The majority of pro-Ukraine channels, communities, and news outlets that I have found have been very trustworthy. But my only reason for saying this is I want to urge everyone, if you aren't already, make sure that you're practicing good critical thinking skills and fact-checking everything you come across. All right, everybody. With that, I will bid you adieu, and keep a lookout for the Discord server announcement and the shorts. Thanks for coming, and Slava Ukraini.